Hello students, this is a short video to show you what to expect when you open Eclipse for the first time and just how to create a workspace, project, class, and package. First of all, I'm going to take it, I'm going to go to Windows key, and of course I ran it already, otherwise I can just type in ECLIP, there it is right there, loads it up. This takes a little bit, not too bad. Now the first thing you got to do is you got to figure out where am I going to put my programs, okay? There's two different places I would suggest putting them. The first one is if you have your own laptop computer that you're running around with, keep it on your C drive underneath your users, okay? So if you go to your C drive and I think I'm in C drive and users, okay, and here I'm TD Young, you'd have to pick your own, whatever you're in, okay? And then within this, I would create a folder called CIS CIS 117. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. Okay, and if not, I would suggest creating, I got a flash drive here, okay? And I'm going to create a folder in here called CIS 117. Okay, so what I'm going to do, of course, I got a flash drive. I'm going to browse and I'm going to go to my flash drive and I'm going to say select that folder, and then here I can actually create a new folder by typing in my CIS 117 like that. And I'm going to say launch. At this point, what it's doing is actually creating a folder for you, okay? And here, I'll pull this in here and show you right here. It actually created this folder for me, okay? And so therefore now all of my programs I'm going to write for this class will show up in this folder. The next thing we're going to do is it's going to show this. You might have to wait for a little bit, okay? And we're going to close this welcome window down because we really don't need to see that. And you end up with something like this. Okay, the next thing we need to understand is how Eclipse saves its programs that you create. First of all, there's something called a workspace, okay? And we created that when we created the CIS 117. That is what's called the workspace, okay? And that is where Eclipse will store all of your working folders of all your different projects that you're going to be doing in this class or later on at work. The next thing is we got a project, okay? The project is the next level that Eclipse will store your project or all your classes in. We'll talk about this a little bit. In class, I'm going to be calling them week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. Okay, what I'd like to do now is we're going to create a new project. To create a new project, you go to File. Just slide this down a little bit, make sure you can see it. File, New, and then a Java project like that. What we're going to do is we'll just call this week 0, okay? Because we'll be getting rid of this later on. Week 0 like that. And then you just accept all the defaults and just say finish like that. It says, do I want to create a info module? And your info module is going to explain about your program if you got something really big going on. In class here, we're going to always say don't create. And that creates this folder right here. If I go ahead and look at my CIS 117, I now see I have a folder in there called week 1 or week 0, okay? Week 0. Now what you want to do at your next level here is we're going to create a class, okay? And a class is a program level file that might contain your program, okay? They call this class. We're going to talk a little more about this in our classroom setting, but for now, just go ahead and open up this folder right here under your source. Make sure you create this in your source because otherwise it gets really messy, okay? Right-click on the word SRC, a new and a class like this. This is going to be like an assignment or something like that, but we're going to start out by creating a class called Hello World. Notice I don't put any spaces in there. It's just easier to make everything work out, okay? Hello World, and we'll talk a little bit more about capital letters and things like that in our classroom setting. Go ahead and click on this little switch right here because that will write a little template for our public static void main, okay, which we'll see in just a moment, and you're going to say finish. You just created your own program. It doesn't do anything, okay? It has a to-do auto-generate method stub. We can get rid of this line right here because we don't need it, okay? It's just a little remark in there telling us to do something later, okay? But don't worry about that for now. Well, the simple things we're going to do is right to our console window. And to do that, you type in a capital SYS system dot out dot println, okay? Opening parentheses, quotation mark, and notice how it creates the closing ones for us. Hello world. Something like that. And we have to close our line with a semicolon like that. Okay. And now we can go ahead and run it by clicking this little green button up here. Always a shortcut tool I'll show you in class. When you run this, it's going to say, okay, do you want to run it? Say, of course. And down here in your console window, notice its console window pops up. Hello world. Okay. Sweet. Now let's say, oh, we're going to create an own at-home package. Okay. And so we're going to right click on File, New. I create an at-home one just for all my projects that I'm just playing around with, okay? I'm going to call this at home. Once again, no spaces, okay? Like that. And just say finish. And once again, I really don't want to create a info module, so I'm going to say don't create. And now you see I've got an at home. Inside that at home, I can create another class. Right click on SRC, a new, and a class. And I'm going to call this class Hello Tom. Like that. And once again, I'm going to take and add this public static void main. I'm going to say finish. And now I have a hello Tom and I have a hello world. Let's take and write a little code in here. System with a capital S dot out dot print. Whoop, come on fingers. ln. And this one's going to say hello Tom. Like that. Semicolon at the end. And now when I run this one, okay, I get a hello Tom down here. So I just created 2 Java files. These are the files that you're going to be submitting to me in a class, okay? In our class for our classroom assignments, class and class. I'm going to show you what happened to those, okay? We created this folder called CIS 117. I have 2 different projects in here at home. And there's an SRC, remember SRC right here. Okay. And hello Tom, Java. Okay. If I right click on this and I say open with and say notepad or something like that, I can actually see right here my code written there. Well, this is all junk and I really don't want this anymore, okay? So I'm going to take and I'm going to right click at home. I'm going to delete this. Now at this point, have the opportunity to delete the project contents on the disk cannot be done. If I click on that and say OK, and I go look at my project now, I have week 0 and I don't have, what was it, at home or whatever it was called, okay? That's missing now. There's another way you can do this. You can just right click on here and you can say delete. And this time I'm not going to delete. I'm going to say OK. I'm just going to show you what happens here. What happens here now is you delete it off of here, but it's still in here. Excuse me, right there it is, okay, with all the stuff in it. So now if you try to create another week 1, you're going to end up with a conflict and all this mess, okay? So there's 2 different ways to delete things. You can delete them off the screen or you can totally delete them in here, okay? So anyway, let's see, I'm just going to take and delete this right here, week 0, get that right off of there. Delete that so I don't mess things up for later on. There, now you got a clean slate again, and you can take and you can create file, new, and projects again. And I'll lead you through this in our classroom setting. There's one more thing I want to talk about real quickly, and they talk about packages, okay? And that's a way to organize your classes. We won't be doing this at first, but Oh, let's see, I lost my, let me file, I'll create a real new Java project, and I'm just going to call this junk because I'm going to delete it right away, and I'm going to say finish, and once again, I'm going to say don't create that info module, okay? You'll see your package right here. Whoop, oh, there's no package. We have to add a package later on, okay? And you can add a package by, oh, you're right here, a new Java package, okay? But we'll talk about that later. Anyway, that wraps up this video.